decided to go back to my village. 70 kilometers from Lira town and 550 kilometers from Kampala city. I just really wanted to get connected to my ancestors. You see, my father had died 33 years ago when I was just a toddler, a 6-month baby. At that time, it was a tumultuous time in the political history of Uganda. A politically unstable period that ushered in the current NRM administration. So I didn't know my father. I didn't know his family. But as any African man, you always want to belong. You always want to identify. And you always want to get connected to your ancestors. So I went back home. By the time I'd gone back home, I was equipped with a master's degree in development management from the prestigious London School of Economics. I'd also trained in rural development from Makerere University. And I had knowledge, I had skills, I had networks, and I really just wanted to see home. But when I went back home, home wasn't a bed of roses. Things were tough. It was really a bush. We had to start clearing up everything. We had to clear the gardens. We had to start construction projects. The place was dry, burnt. Access to drinking water was difficult. Women had to ride bicycles or carry jerry cans of water 5 kilometers away. So we started a little construction project. For me, really, it was just about going back home, having a little house, and come back to Kampala, work, and when I go back, I have a residence, somewhere to sleep. But that wouldn't really be the case, because as soon as we started our construction projects, little girls like this started coming to play in my compound. So I took the initiative to ask the children, do you go to school at all? They told me no. I invited their parents. We had conversations. I asked them, why don't these children go to school? They told me, we don't have a school in the village. I was like, so what do? They were like, let's start up something. So we started the first ever adult education center and early childhood development center in the village. The children got excited. We had 8 children in class. The number kept expanding. Parents started actively participating in construction projects, in classrooms, in kitchens. They started to bring foods their children could eat, and the number kept expanding. Many parents became interested, in having their children come to receive an education. The students or our kids got smarter, they got excited. And the parents then said, whenever our children go back home, they speak good English, they have good manners, but also we need an education because we did not get the opportunity to go to school. You see, at the time when the parents were supposed to be in school, northern Uganda was embroiled in a conflict. A conflict that meant that they had to live most of their childhood lives in the internally displaced people's camps. So they didn't have an education. So I looked up the Uganda Bureau of Statistics data and actually found out that up to 72% of the parents in this village, or of the adult population in this village, had not received basic primary education. I was confused with this. And so the parents said, how about we also start up early and adult education? So we started our adult education programs. The parents started learning basic things. They started getting excited. Their numbers increased. And then the parents were like, since we already come together as a community, how about we start up village banking activities? So the parents started to come together to lend money to each other, to save amongst themselves. They got excited again. The women came together in groups, consoling each other, comforting each other of the challenges that they face in the village. And then something unique happened. The parents noticed that they had to wait up to a week to go and buy basic stationery and basic scholastic materials from the village market, which was weekly. So they had to wait until every Sunday to buy basic goods. Then an idea popped up. How about we start up a grocery store? So we started our grocery store. The grocery store became like a magnet, like a hub that attracted the villagers. Then women started bringing silverfish, beans, posho, bananas to sell within our village square so they can get some money and buy salt, sugar, soap to take back home. Another need arose. We needed health intervention services. So we started a community clinic that treats people even when they do not have hard cash, because you don't know when a health emergency is going to strike. So from our health facility, you can get treated and you can pay back in the next harvest season when you get some money. We also started a boxing club. And the story of the boxing club is beautiful. You see, when we were in the internally displaced people's camps, we joined boxing clubs because we wanted to train to be strong, to defend ourselves. But when we came back to the village, the youth started misplacing their boxing skill to rob, to steal. Then a moment occurred. How about we direct our boxing skills, our talents, into something productive? So we started a boxing club in the village. We also started cultural dancing activities and organizing musical festivals just to bring the community together. We also started to rebuild and rehabilitate broken boreholes that were constructed over a decade ago. But then, one day, something happened that was a eureka moment. And this was just last year during the lockdown. So I couldn't, of course, be working here in Kampala because it was a lockdown. So I went back to the village. Then one day, I was just taking a nap, behind my house. There is a big tree. So I was just taking an afternoon rest. And I looked at the Shea tree that I was under. And I couldn't believe that a very resourceful tree was not being put into the best of use. Then it just occurred to me that something had to be done about this. So I called the community. We had conversations. We discussed. And we reflected together with the community. What are we going to do about this tree? The tree that you destroy because you do not attach significant value to it. Shea trees produce shea nuts. Shea nuts make shea butter. Shea butter is one of the most sought after cosmetic products in the world. It is valued at 1.2 billion US dollars. But a Google search about shea butter, you would be lucky to find anything about shea butter from Uganda. Most of the things you find about shea butter would be from West Africa. But it was high time that we changed this narrative. It was high time that we turned this resource, which is being destroyed, into the engine that fuels social economic transformation in the village. And just like in Wakanda, that used vibranium to power its development, together with the community, we decided that we are going to use the shea nuts, the shea trees, and the shea butter as our vibranium. We even started to plant more shea trees because we know we needed to conserve these trees. Shea trees are one of the trees on the IUCN red list of species that will soon get extinct. We came together with the community and we decided we have to start a cooperative society to fuel our shea business activities. We knew we had to come together as a cohesive force, as a unified voice, to do activities that would position our shea trees and shea nuts and shea butter as an important resource. So we started a cooperative society that enabled us to launch Okere shea butter to the marketplace. Just in a span of 6 months, between June 2000 and December 2000, we had made a net profit of up to 2,000 US dollars. We've launched our products across outlets in Kampala, in Iganga, in Mbarara, and all the other major cities of the country. We've also empowered the women to make nicer edible shea butter using traditional processes that they know best. Shea butter production is a social activity, it's a cultural activity that is passed on from generation to generation. And when you do that, you are not only protecting heritage, you are also bringing the community together. You are also empowering the women to be at the center stage of shaping their own destiny. So our edible shea butter product, locally called Moya in Luo, is one of the most sought after edible shea butter products in the Ugandan marketplace at the moment. Our transformative journey is just starting. We've just begun. Definitely, Okere City is not going to be a super city fueled with vibranium, with flying planes and high-tech technologies. But what is true is that we have started building a foundation of something transformative, a foundation of something that the whole world will come to see and learn from in decades or centuries to come. And just like in Wakanda, they say, Wakanda forever. In Okere, we say, Okere forever. Thank you very much.